Welcome to our show, Play It By Ears podcast, where we give you all the best information, tips, and tricks for having an awesome Disney vacation.
We also give you something even more valuable, our practically perfect recommendations and hot takes. What gives us the authority to provide all these opinions? Well, we have computers, a deep love for Disney, and we've been to every Disney park in the entire world and Alani.
And if you don't know that there's parks in Shanghai and Tokyo and Hong Kong and Paris, well, now you do. And that's why we're here, to give you all the hot tips, because we believe we are the authority, but also it's just really fun to talk about Disney. We've done the girls' trips, the adult trips, the baby trips, the kids' trips, and the multi-generational trips.
We've dropped all the ropes, made the reservations, we've collected the merch, we've tasted the tequila, and we've clicked the bait.
We're pass holders, DVC members, Run Disney racers, Disney Plus watchers, and professional planners. We are former cast members and Disney wedding I-doers.
So get to know us, agree with us, maybe argue with us in your car. And with that, I'm Kate.
And I'm Leanne. Let's get to it.
Playing it by ears.
Okay, so part of this show, every week, we're going to talk about what we're wearing. Because it's the Play It By Ears podcast, I'm going to try and wear different ears. Hopefully they kind of align with what we're talking about. And then obviously we have cute merch for shirts, so we're probably going to wear something cute and talk about that as well. So I'll kick it off. I'm wearing my Grand Floridian ears. The reason I have these ears is because I actually got married at the Grand Floridian and I felt it was super special. So I'm excited to wear these for this. And if that gives you a tip of what we're talking about today, spoiler alert, we're talking about resorts.
I'm wearing my Mickey ears from 2020. What a crazy year that was.
Truly.
And I'm wearing my Disney Vacation Club Riviera Resort sweatshirt. Yes. And
that's nice.
Yeah, it has a little bit of a story behind it. We, on one of our Disney trips, we arrived, but our luggage did not. And one thing you'll probably learn as you get to know us is my husband is very fancy. And so he went to the gift shop to buy himself a new shirt. And he decided he needed this Tommy Bahama Riviera sweatshirt. So now we fancy. But also, as DVC members, we own a tiny, tiny little piece of Riviera, like probably one tile in the bathroom of suite like 502, like who knows. So Riviera is somewhat special as well. I also have my Happy Place mug today. So,
I love that. Okay, for my mug, I just got this because why not? It's the new Starbucks collection merch. They have it for each park. I picked Magic Kingdom just because I thought it was really cute and it's pink. There's a different color for every park. But yeah, I just got it. I'm very excited. If you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, it has like nods to all the different rides.
So one of the first things you do when planning a Disney vacation, maybe before you decide when to go, maybe after you decide when to go, is where you're going to stay.
We're going to be talking about the pros, the cons of staying off property versus on property, explain that there are 3 different tiers when it comes to Disney resorts, and highlighting some of the recommendations based on what you feel like prioritizing and choosing.
One of my favorite things about my Disney trip is actually the resort and choosing the resort. And I have a personal goal of staying at all of them. And I bought a pin from everyone I've stayed at except Key West, Old Key West. They were out of pins. So I absolutely will make a special trip there just to get a pin next time I'm down. And if you don't plan to do the parks for every day of your stay, the resort will be your key to relaxation and family fun. And, you know, when we talk more about planning Disney trips for people who don't like Disney and don't want to go crazy, the resort is just this absolutely amazing, relaxing escape that should be an essential part of your trip. Sometimes your resort will be the place where you just lay your head at night, but for like after you rope drop and go till park close. But sometimes it'll be like the biggest part of your trip.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it really depends on your family. We can get into it in a little bit of like how you choose. But for me, I have the same exact goal. I want to stay at every single resort. I'm not too far off. I only have a few more. But that said, I've also stayed off property too, because that specific scenario warranted staying off property and had a great time. So I think it's good to kind of talk about why you would, but let's be real. Like if I have the chance and it makes sense, I'm staying on property. It's amazing.
Yeah, staying on property is definitely better. It's so much more expensive. That's the truth. But a lot of what you're paying for is convenience of transportation. Disney provides free transportation and it's frequent and it's fantastic. And just a lot of other perks of being in the bubble, which we'll talk about.
I think what you talked about with the con being the price is spot on. Like that is the reason you won't be staying on property is it's expensive. Like it is. I do think Disney does a good job of giving a wide variety from anywhere between like renting a little lot at Fort Wilderness to do camping and having like a tent all the way to having one of those like Maldives style huts like on the water. So there's a wide variety, and a few of the resorts that are value resorts, they do have decent prices sometimes, and they have savings and deals all the time. So you can make it work, but again, if you have a big family or things like that, it gets expensive fast.
So let's start talking about the options you have when going to Disney World in Florida or Disneyland in California. Disneyland California has 3 on-property resorts. It's pretty limited in selection, but Disney World in Florida has, I don't know, Kate, 15, 20?
Yeah, around there. I've never stayed at any of the Disneyland resorts. I know you mentioned there's 3. I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like them? And like, do they compare to Disney World?
Yeah, maybe let's knock out California first. So there's 3 resorts. There's the Pixar Pier, which is kind of the value moderate. I use the word value very loosely. In California, you're still going to pay at the cheapest Disneyland resort, you're still going to pay like over $300 a night. And then
So more expensive than Disney World.
Yes. And then there's the Disneyland, which is kind of moderate bordering on Deluxe resort. And then there is the Grand Californian. And the Grand Californian, it's so fancy. It's very nice. It has its own entrance into one of the parks. It has, I had the most expensive breakfast I will ever have in my life at the Grand Californian, but it was really memorable and amazing.
Okay, is that more expensive than doing Cinderella's Royal Table?
I mean, it was like $100 or $150 a person. It was breakfast.
For breakfast?
Was 3-course breakfast with princesses meet and greet.
So similar to Cinderella's Royal Table. Okay.
Yeah. Very similar. But yeah, I would say the 3-course presentation of the food might have been a little nicer than Cinderella's table.
I mean, if you're paying that much, it better be freaking nice.
Yeah. You aren't in a castle, though. You're in a hotel restaurant.
That's fair.
Yes, and I've stayed at Disneyland and Grand California, and I thought they were both fantastic. They have great pools, great restaurants, great theming. The thing about picking a hotel in California is it's very tempting to stay off property to save money. And when you do the research, you see that, okay, this is going to be like, I'm going to walk a mile to the parks. I can handle a mile. I can handle walking a mile. And you absolutely can in the morning when you're like fresh and you have a whole day of Disney to look forward to. You can absolutely walk the mile to the park. But let me tell you, at the end of a full park day, that mile walk home is the worst. It is so long, and you are walking along the streets of Anaheim. You are walking past convenience stores. You are not in the bubble, and your vacation is like the 1 weekend of your year where you just kind of want to be in this perfect world, and walking the streets of Anaheim, it's not what you're going to get.
Yeah, that's fair. To be honest, when I've gone to Disneyland a bunch of times and I've only stayed off property, so I am that person that gets tempted by all of the like other brands that I have loyalty to. It just seems easy. And if I'm paying all that money to fly to California, and all that, I just feel like the hotels there are they're close enough for me. I agree. At the end of the day, I hate myself, but my wallet doesn't hate myself. So that's why I've always stayed off property. And I think that's the biggest difference with Disneyland and Disney World is you can't really stay off property and walk.
No,
like, yes, that long walk is bad at the end of the day with Disneyland, but it is walkable. I can't think of a single off property. I mean, I don't think you can walk from the Four Seasons. There's some resorts and hotels near Disney Springs that you can walk to, but not to go to like Magic or any of the other parks. So that is the benefit of staying on property at Disney World. You are in a bubble. They give you great transportation, like you mentioned earlier. and you can't walk it yourself. Where if you stay off property at like an Airbnb or a different other hotel, you must take a transportation that's provided or drive yourself.
Yep. Yeah, so let me just hit one more point on California and then
Ooh,
we'll
okay.
talk about Florida. So the last benefit of staying on property, not the last, but another big benefit of staying on property this year, Disneyland changed where instead of giving resort guests early entry, they give you one lightning lane.
Okay, I heard about this. How do you feel about it?
I thought it was great. I bought multi-pass also, so I felt very lightning lane rich. I do think we got to the end of both days with a lightning lane left.
Okay. And you're not
So
like the biggest rope dropper. So getting in the park early might not be the biggest benefit for you, where having the extra lightning lane
exactly.
works.
No, you're 100% right. If you are like if you have small kids, it's hard to get them up early. You just again, it's your vacation. You want to sleep in, you want to have a slow breakfast. I liked it better. I liked it better than early access because I get to get it like skip that line for one ride at the time that works for me.
So you get to go in the line whenever you want. Like, how does it work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You cannot use it for a single pass ride like Rise of Resistance,
Or the Cars ride, right? Yeah.
cars. But yeah, you just enter when you want.
Okay. I think that's cool. I mean, you can still be at the front of the line at the beginning when the park opens with all the regular guests and still get that
Yeah.
first on the ride.
Yeah, you could still rope drop. You could have that one lightning lane and not buy multi-pass. Would be a way to
Yeah, that makes
save
sense.
money.
Well, next time I go, I'm going to check it out. I definitely need to stay on property when I go there at some point. But okay, anyways, let's jump to Disney World because there's so many resorts to talk about, so many different tiers. Let's
Yeah.
jump into those.
Yeah, so let's just quickly recap the cons of staying off property because we are really advocates for staying on property. So the cons again are it is less convenient. You will have to figure out your own transportation. You'll either have to rent a car or pay for Ubers. If some hotels will offer transportation to Disney, but we're talking about like one bus every couple of hours and it's already full of people. You'll also have access to people who can help you with ticketing and reservations, answer questions about the park. You'll have earlier access to booking your dining reservations. So if you are staying on property 60 days out from the first day of your stay, you can book dining. And as we'll get into in another episode, there are really fantastic restaurants for which dining books up right away. You'll get extended park hours. You'll get access to water parks on check-in day. This is a benefit for this year, may not continue. But if you do get there early, which is hard coming from the West Coast, but if you're close and you get to your hotel stay early, even if your room's not ready, you can go to the water park.
Yeah.
If you don't stay on property, you're not in the bubble. And so we kind of talked about what this means. And because you have transportation via bus, monorail, boat, Skyliner, which by the way, my kids will say is their favorite ride, and it's just transportation. You don't have to fly with a car seat. So that's just one less thing you need to bring because these transportation options don't require a car seat where a rental car or an Uber would.
That is the biggest reason I stay on property with my child is because of that car seat. Because it's another thing I don't have to think about when thinking about thousands of things with her. I will say for 3 of the 4 parks, driving yourself and parking, you're parking like right in the front. But with Magic specifically, you are parking at the TTC Center.
Ticket and transportation.
Thank you. Which is not the entrance to Magic Kingdom. So you're parking and then you're getting on more transportation, either the monorail or the boat, which adds time. Again, if you're at a hotel via bus, you can just drop you off right at the front. So that is another con for staying off property is not only do you have to drive yourself there, but you're potentially further away than other people and have to factor that in.
Yeah. So let's talk about the different tiers of resorts.
Woohoo!
Because Disney organizes their resorts into 3 tiers. I'll kick it off with the first one, the value tier. There are 3 resorts that are named All-Star. All-Star Sports, All-Star Movies, and All-Star
Music.
And the reason I can't remember them is because I've never stayed at them. Which, yeah, I have actually never stayed at any of them. They look cool from the pictures. Kate, which one did you stay at?
I think I've stayed at all three of them. Sports is my least favorite just because I'm not a sports girly. And usually sports is the one that like all the cheer competitions or all the kids and groups stay at. And so I don't really want to be bombarded by those people all the time. I think movies is my favorite. It has more of like an art of animation vibe. And so it's not as insane as the other ones. And music is fine too. Really just sports is the one I'm like, meh. And that one I think is usually the cheapest one.
How are the values different from the moderates, which we'll get into next?
With value, I think you mentioned this, with dining, it is typically quick service only. And it's usually like a food court situation where if you go to moderate, which is the next tier, you're going to just get a little bit more than what you got there. So the rooms are maybe slightly bigger. The pools are slightly better. Usually there might be like a slide that goes with that pool where with value, you're not really getting slides.
Some of them,
the
yeah.
theming is better. I would say typically with dining, you might get one sit down compared to there's no sit down at the value. There's usually one, maybe more at the moderate. I'm thinking like Coronado Springs has a bunch of sit down restaurants and some of them are fantastic.
Coronado's like top tier moderate, like bordering on deluxe. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when we talk about value and we talk about deluxe, the moderate, just think it's like totally in the middle, right? You're not getting everything you get the deluxe, but you're not getting nothing that you get the value. Transportation, I would say you typically could get more than just a bus. So like Port Orleans, Riverside, and French Quarter, those both have boat transportation to Disney Springs. So it just gives you a little bit more variety, I would say, with that.
Yeah. And so like, let's list the moderates. So we've got Pop Century and Art of Animation.
No, those are still value.
Those are value? Oh, then I have to stay at value. Okay, those are like value bordering on moderate.
Not that bougie. You stayed at value.
Sure. Okay. Those are value bordering on moderate.
Well, could you think about Art of Animation and Pop Century? Those don't have sit-down dining.
They don't. And they don't have water slides.
Correct. The only thing they have benefit going for them is the Skyliner. And that's what's making you think that it's moderate.
I think also Pop Century did a art room refurb that's really nice. Like it's one thing about the value and the like value moderates is the theming and the color is intense.
Oh, yeah.
Which especially Art of Animation, like the kids will love it. Like you get a Cars room, you get a Nemo room, kids will love it. I stayed in a Nemo room for almost a week. I couldn't look at the color blue. After that, it was just the theming was so intense. And so I think Pop Century inside the room pulls the theming down a little bit. But no, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And then you get into Coronado Springs, Caribbean Beach, Port Orleans. Those do have water slides, some nicer restaurants. And the theming.
And more pools too.
Yeah.
Like there's a quieter pools, bigger pools. There's like a variety.
Yes. Especially at Coronado Springs because Coronado Springs has a small convention center. And so it is themed quite a bit less Disney and more adult. So again, recommend Coronado Springs if you are going with a group of adults or just, kind of wanting to escape the Disney theming when you go back to your room.
We also forgot one value hotel. And I think the reason that we haven't said it is because I don't think we've stayed at it. And that's Fort Wilderness.
Like the cabins?
Yes. The cabins and the campsites where you can rent a lot and put your tent in or your camper. Those are great. I think a lot of like Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, campers, kids groups all stay there. They have so many activities to do there.
Like
I just haven't
camp.
stayed there. Yeah, it truly, I think, is what they're going for. Is like spend a day at Magic, but then spend the week at summer camp here.
Well, that's on my short list. Staying in one of their new and I don't think of it as value because the refurbished cabins look amazing.
They do. Well, so, I also feel like with Art of Animation specifically, the family suites are nice. And having two bathrooms is incredible compared to what you get at other places. So that's probably why we're getting a little confused with Art of Animation being a value because it has different amenities that like an All Stars doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
so go.
I was gonna say you're absolutely right. The Art of Animation, you can get a family suite. It has a separate bedroom with a bathroom, 2 full bathrooms to your point, another Murphy bed that can pull down to another bed. But the difference between that and the new Fort Wilderness cabins is the new cabins have a kitchen where the
Do they have 2
families.
bathrooms?
No, just 1 bathroom.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, just 1 bathroom, and it's a bed, a Murphy bed, and bunk beds. So maybe couldn't accommodate, like, the family plus grandma as easily, but it does have a kitchen where the Art of Animation just has, like, the kitchenette with the sink and the mini fridge.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's on my list too.
It's
I
on my
definitely
list.
want to stay at the cabins. Okay, so looking at the moderates, I think we've highlighted pretty much everything. If you're going to stay at a moderate hotel, for me, I'm staying at Coronado. One, because that's where I had my wedding. People, like everyone that went to my wedding stayed there, and we had my welcome party there, and I just love it. But two, the Grand Destino Tower, it feels like a deluxe resort. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not one that has an exterior entry like most Disney resorts do. You are in a tower building where it feels like a normal hotel, where you take an elevator, you're going in, and you are opening the door, and it has a lot of the updated amenities like different like chargers and more technology. And the reason for that is like you mentioned before, there's a convention center and a lot of groups and conventions happen there. So think of it more like a businessy hotel, but they have tons of restaurants there. They also have a fantastic pool, so for kids with that big pyramid. So I think it has a lot to offer. The only downside for that one, in my opinion, is location. You're not walking to any park. You're not taking a boat to any park. You're not taking the Skyliner to any park. You are taking a bus to every single park. And that to me is a downside. Or else I'd probably be booking that every single time because the value is great for what you get, especially if you're at the tower.
Great resort. The theming is like, what would you call it? Like Spain meets Southwest. Different portions of the resort are slightly different variations on that theme.
It's Spanishy themed.
Yeah.
They have Spanish tapas restaurants. They have like a
Yeah.
Spanish steakhouse. They have
Yeah.
like, I think it's like almost maybe Mexican themed restaurant on the water. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely Spanish.
So speaking of that, like bar restaurant on the water, I didn't know this was a thing the last time I was there. Otherwise, I would have done it. They have a sangria university where you can learn how to make sangria and make your own sangria.
Well, dang.
I know.
We should definitely do it. I think it's called Three Bridges. Is that what it's
Yep.
called? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The one I don't recommend is Caribbean Beach.
Because
Really
it's
disliked
sprawling.
it. It just smelled like the resort just feels old. It smells. It's a big resort, so it's very spaced out. So it's kind of hard
could
to
walk
walk
a long
around and
way.
navigate.
Mhm.
And if I want to use a Skyliner, I feel like I'd rather stay at Art of Animation or Pop and save some money. I don't think you're getting any benefit with Caribbean Beach. And I know they've done refurbs on both Pop and Art, so it's like,
Yeah.
why would I consider doing that? And if I'm going to ball out, I'm staying at Riviera on the Skyliner route. So
Yeah.
I just
I would say the one thing is if you have kids or if you are really into pirate theming, Caribbean Beach has some cool pirate theming rooms.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and their pool is pirate themed. So I like it for that. But yeah, you'll have to look across the water at Riviera and the beautiful restaurant on the top of the tower and be jealous.
No joke. I went to Caribbean Beach and stayed with my extended family, and they accidentally pulled into the Riviera parking lot, and they were like, oh, "We're staying here," and I was like, "No, we're staying over there." And they're like, "Got it."
Yeah.
You could see the slight disappointment in their eyes.
I went to Caribbean Beach, just me and my son and my brother. And so I had like a big suitcase and the stroller. And my brother was in his 20s at the time. And so he packed everything in a massive duffel bag. Just like I bought him a roller bag for his wedding. So I was like, we can't do this
Nice.
again.
Typical
And
man.
they gave us a room at the most farthest possible away part of the resort. I think we actually walked through a tunnel under a road to like get to our room. And I'm like, do you see the situation we have gotten ourselves in? You're going to put us all the way out there. All right.
Yeah, when I stayed there too, we were on the second floor, And I don't know if they have elevators or we just couldn't find said elevators. Oh, no, Google tells me Caribbean Beach does not have elevators. That makes sense because we had to lug all of our stuff up second flight of stairs. So if you're staying there with kids and you have a bunch of stuff, just know if you're on a higher floor, you will be taking it all upstairs. So maybe requesting at the bottom floor. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I just feel like we really hated on Caribbean Beach. It's really okay.
I know.
It's better than All
but
Star.
It's okay. Yeah, but it's not that much better where it's worth paying more for it. Anyways, okay, I'll stop being a hater.
Move us on.
That's just my least favorite one. Okay, so, and then the other two ones, Port Orleans, Riverside, French Quarter. I'll quickly touch on those. I've stayed at both. French Quarter, I like because it's smaller and quaint and cute. It reminds me of New Orleans. They have fantastic beignets. Even if you stay at Riverside, walk or take the boat over to French Quarter and get those beignets because you will not regret it. And then Riverside, I think, is just stunning. That's where I was originally going to get married, was outside in Riverside because of these beautiful trees and overhang. And it just has a gorgeous outdoor vibe throughout. It is such a pretty resort. And that to me feels like a deluxe resort, even though it's moderate. The only problem is they're kind of far too. Great if you want to go to Disney Springs, they have boat transportation. Otherwise, you're taking a bus. Anything you want to add to those?
I stayed at Riverside once for like one night, so I don't really remember it.
Okay. Now let's get into your favorite, the deluxe resorts, because you bougie and you're
everybody's
DVC
favorite.
member.
Everybody's favorite. It's not me. I'm not bougie. It's my husband. So my husband has 3 rules when he goes to Disney. He's not a huge Disney person. He will go with, but he has 3 rules. One is he doesn't wait in lines. The second is he refuses to eat scrambled eggs that were served with an ice cream scoop. And the third is he travels a lot for work, and he says, if I'm on vacation, I want to stay somewhere nicer than where I travel for work. And so that was really a big reason why we invested in Disney Vacation Club. Basically, I call it like the Costco of Disney Vacation. You buy all of your resorts stays up front for a lower price. So now we stay at the Deluxe resorts, which is great. And my kids love the resorts. They love all the outdoor activities. They love the water slides. The restaurants are just so much better. Some of them are better. Like I will, if I have a non-park day, I will even like venture to other resorts to eat at their restaurants.
Yeah.
They just have so much to offer.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to, like, when you talked about dining, like, so many times will go, if I'm at Magic Kingdom and it's like the peak heat of the day, I will take the monorail to one of the 3 monorail resorts and go to one of those dining options because they're so fantastic. So even if I'm not staying there, I love the dining that most of the deluxe resorts feature. So yes, dining is like one of the biggest things, especially because a lot of them have character dining, which to me is like top notch. I will pay all the money so I don't have to wait in line to meet characters and can just have them come to my table as I'm eating.
Yep.
The kids love it. So yeah.
Character dining does cost all the money, but it is the most chill way to meet a handful of characters.
Yes. And they're at the deluxe resorts. So again, benefit. You mentioned the slides and the pools. The pools are just fantastic. And they all have like a splash pad play area for smaller kids, which I have a very small child. So that is great for me because she is not swimming yet, but I can have her walk around and get splashed in the face. And I think it's hilarious and amazing. And the theming, it just feels more elevated. I mean, you would expect that because you're paying elevated prices. So you expect that, and they deliver. Maybe not all of them. There's definitely a varying degree of deluxe resorts, and we could talk about that. But for the most part, they feel elevated, premium, plush, bigger room sizes than any of the moderate or the value hotels. Typically, you have the most transportation options. So I'm looking at contemporary. You're walking to the park. You're not even taking a boat, a bus. You can, but you're walking. It's that close, which is fantastic if you have small kids. Everyone needs a nap in the middle of the day. You're not waiting on like a 30-minute bus and then transferring all the way back over. So if I'm taking my small child, I'm typically going to try and stay at a deluxe resort and utilize one that's closest to said park that I'm going to.
And it's only at deluxe resorts where you get early entry, right?
No, every resort gets early entry. Only deluxe resorts get the extended evening hours. I will say, it's hit or miss on the extended evening hours. I've stayed at a bunch of deluxe resorts, and I've never hit it where it was on the day that I was there to receive said benefit. So if you're booking the deluxe resort for that, I wouldn't bank on it. I would keep checking because as they announce it, it'll show in the app which one's offering extended hours, if they are at all. And great, utilize that. Try to plan around that if that's something that's important to you, but do not book it for just that fact because you might be disappointed.
So before we talk about our favorite deluxe resorts, let's just try to take inventory of the deluxe resorts. So Kate said the resort's on the monorail. And so that's the monorail loop that goes in front of Magic Kingdom. And so if you're in one of these resorts, you have the easiest transportation to Magic Kingdom besides walking. So the monorail loop resorts are Contemporary, Polynesian, Grand Floridian. It is Fort Wilderness or
Wilderness Lodge.
Wilderness Lodge it's not on the monorail.
It's not on the monorail
close.
loop, but there's a beautifully short, fantastic boat ride that is so calm and pristine. Like if you want a relaxing vibe, that is the route to go. So it's kind of it's in the Magic Kingdom area. It's just not on the monorail loop.
It's on the lake.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. And then sitting at the back door of Epcot, we've got Beach Club, Yacht Club, and the Boardwalk. Then we have over
kind of
by
throw Riviera in that area too.
Yep. Riviera is is connected by the Skyliner to
Epcot and Hollywood Studios.
Yep. And then in the Animal Kingdom area, we have the Animal Kingdom Lodge. What am I missing?
You're missing the Disney Springs area, which is Old Key West and Saratoga Springs.
Yep. And Saratoga Springs, especially if you are staying on the far side, you can walk to Disney Springs.
Yes, you can.
So,
and if you're at Disney Springs and you need a playground, you can walk over to Saratoga Springs Playground. You don't have to be staying there and you can enjoy it with your kids. Mm-hmm. So fun little tip for you guys. If you guys go to Disney Springs and your kids are being like, I need to run around, that's a good tip for you.
Yep. And Key West and Saratoga Springs were the first two Disney Vacation Club properties. So they're older. They're super nice. They've been refurbished. Absolutely recommend. But because they're a bit older, the rooms are a bit bigger.
Yes, they are. They are bigger. The only thing I don't like about those two hotels is how big and spacious, spread out they are. So you kind of have to walk around. They have multiple bus pickup locations typically. And they're not that close to a park. So I'm having to plan that into my day. But like you said, they're very nice. They've been refurbed. If you are for sure doing a Disney Springs day or multiple because they have fantastic restaurants, maybe that's a great option for you.
Yep. And one other thing that I want to make clear about the deluxe resorts is they have a whole bunch of room size options. So they have everything from your standard 2-queen bed room to a studio, a 1-bedroom suite, a 2-bedroom suite, a 3-bedroom suite. You could get, like Kate said, a bungalow on the water. You could get not the Fort Wilderness cabin, but a bigger cabin with a hot tub in it and, to host your family. Saratoga has tree houses, which are these elevated, standalone, really cool rooms. So yeah, you could back to the theming. The theming is less Disney color and more, I am in an African safari. I am on an island in Hawaii. Just this really adventurous escape theme.
Yeah, I would say that hits the nail on the head. Okay, do you want to talk about your favorite deluxe resort? And this is hard for me.
Yeah, favorite deluxe resort. We own at Riviera. I don't know that that's my favorite though. It is
really.
It's on the smaller side.
The resort or the room?
The resort. It's one building. It's one pool and then a splash area, which is great. It has a restaurant on the top floor, which does character dining in the morning, which is great. And then on the ground floor, it has a pool bar and a grab and go. So only 3 restaurants, 1 pool, great big yard with a lot of outdoor games. But yeah, I would say on the smaller side. My husband loves it because it's fancy. It's new.
It is fancy.
our like studio actually had a separate shower and a separate shower tub, so the bathroom was like felt larger than it needed to be. Um, my favorite. I think my favorite could be one that I haven't even stayed in yet, which I think the Polynesian. I've gone there to eat. I think I would love that resort. I also really want to stay at Fort Wilderness Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge. I like that theming of just feeling like you're kind of like out camping at a Disney summer camp. So I don't know. I actually don't know that I can pick. What about you?
So I completely agree. The Polynesian, I've never stayed there. I'm waiting to stay there when I find like the perfect reason to, whether it's like a birthday or just like a celebration or something where I can just like ball out, have the best amazing time. I've eaten there. I've been there so many times. I just love it so much that I've really been putting it off because I just wanted to like make it the most perfect experience. For the ones that I have stayed at, I love Wilderness Lodge. I want to give a little shout out to that one. It is probably one of the prettiest resorts I've stayed at, and so quiet and peaceful and calm, which I really appreciate because when you are in the Disney bubble and at the parks, it is mad chaos all the time. And when you go into that resort, you are completely transported into something magical and amazing. And you're so close to Magic Kingdom, but it's not madness like a contemporary where there's like Chef Mickey's and so many people and the monorail. It is by itself. It's just so amazing. That
Yeah.
said, I think my favorite one is Animal Kingdom Lodge because I love animals. And why wouldn't I want to stay at one that has animals all around? Especially because right now, Animal Kingdom is just not doing it for me, the park. I went there recently and some of the shows were canceled. Some of the rides were closed. All of like RIP Dinosaur in that whole area is gone. And I have a kid that can't ride Flight of Passage. So I was just so limited and it gets so hot that I'm not hitting that park for a while
Yeah.
until all the new stuff comes out. And Animal Kingdom Lodge, while it's further from every other park, it gives me that vibe of Animal Kingdom without having to buy a ticket for Animal Kingdom. And
Mm-hmm.
I also love the restaurants there. Like Sanaa,
Mm-hmm. The best
fantastic.
restaurants. Yeah.
Boma, fantastic.
Yeah.
I've never went to Jico, but I really want to because I've heard that one
Yep.
also fantastic.
Yep.
So, in terms of food and experience and vibes, and it's slightly underrated. They have great pools, both of them, great splash pad, awesome slides. You can't go wrong with it. The only downside is it's really close to Animal Kingdom and very far from the rest of the parks. But again, I would use a resort day there and treat it like Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, actually, the last trip I went on, we were at Animal Kingdom and we cut the day short. We're like,
Yeah.
we're done. We're bored. It's hot. And we went back. We were staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge and we went back because the pool was so great. We wanted to do it again, especially over at Kidani Village. That's where the big splash pad is. So it just, so we complain about how sprawling resorts, you might have to walk a lot to your room, but it does make it feel, I think, quieter and like you can find a corner to yourself. Whereas Riviera, Contemporary, where it's just kind of one big building and then one pool, a little bit harder to kind of escape, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, I know we have some like rapid fires of like favorite whatever resort that I want to hit and go into, but I did think of something that I wanted to mention really fast. For me, so I have a 15-month-old. I took her to Disney first when she was 9 months. She is in a pack and play right now, and she does not do well when she can see me in said room. So she needs to be separate from me so we both can get a good night's sleep. And because of that, it really dictates where I'm staying. For example, a lot of the value and sometimes even modern resorts have a shower curtain that separates the bathroom from the main room. It is not a door, it is a shower curtain. I'm looking at you, Art of Animation, for sure. And I'm also thinking of Port Orleans, Riverside, and I think French Quarter, but definitely Riverside. It's just a shower curtain. So it's not blocking out noise. It's blocking out most light, but not enough where like the deluxe resorts have these thick sliding doors. And I put her pack and play in the bathroom, and that is her little room. And so, yeah, like it's tough for us to go to the bathroom, but that gives her darkness, a secluded area. And so, and also the bathrooms are just they're bigger at the deluxe resorts than at the other. So I definitely am looking at square footage. I'm looking at floor plans when I'm picking one with her. So if you are in that situation or something similar, just know that it could be a little dicey, and that's something you should think about if you have a small child. Okay, let's get into those rapid fires.
Yeah. All right. Kate, favorite resort on the monorail loop?
Polynesian will be. I just know it, but I haven't stayed there. I also haven't stayed at Contemporary. I am staying at Contemporary in a week. That being said, it's going to be Grand Floridian. I've stayed there. I got married there. I love it there. It is the hotel. It is the number one, like it is the grand hotel of Disney World, you know? So, and it's close to Magic Kingdom. You can walk there. You can walk from Polynesian too, but it's a little bit further. And I just love all the dining at Grand Floridian. I love going out on that little like lake area and looking at the fireworks. That's a no-brainer, and it's my ears, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what's the word for it? Grand Floridian's meant to be the top. There's a word for it. I can't think of the word.
Flagship hotel.
Flagship.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Buzzwords.
yes, and then in Disneyland, it's the Grand Californian.
Yes.
Is the flagship hotel. Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it's same. It's going to be Polynesian. Haven't stayed at Grand Floridian. I don't think it would be the Contemporary, although the Contemporary is the first resort I ever stayed at my first ever trip to Disney World as a kid. So I appreciate it for that. It's just, yeah, I like a good theme. I like a good theme. That's why I like dressing on theme. Like I like a good theme, and I feel like Polynesian has one. Wilderness Lodge has one.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Floridian is a great, beautiful hotel. But to me, that's kind of the theme. Great, beautiful hotel. And then Contemporary is just high value. The monorail goes through it.
Modern.
Cool.
It's contemporary.
Yeah, exactly.
But like what Contemporary was like in the 70s.
Sure.
Okay.
Like Tomorrowland. It's Tomorrowland adjacent.
Exactly. It's like what we thought it was going to be, but yeah. Okay. What is the best resort if you want to do a character dining? Because we talked about this already. I have some thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts.
So it depends on what characters you want, I think. My favorite, so let's list them actually. So there's Riviera, there's Contemporary, there's Polynesian. Does Grand Floridian, they have character dining, right?
They do. They just reopened it.
Okay. What characters is it?
Hold please. I actually had a list about this.
Wilderness Lodge has
1900
right?
Park Fair. It recently opened, like this year recently opened. It has Cinderella, it has Mirabelle, Tiana, and Aladdin.
Okay.
So like
so
random adventure-seeking characters.
Okay. Yeah, Animal Kingdom Lodge, no character dining. Saratoga Key West, no character dining.
Nope. The Four Seasons, which is like not owned by Disney, but affiliated. It's kind of like those in-between ones. That one has a character dining called Ravello. And that one only has 3 characters, Mickey, Goofy, and Minnie. And then we're also thinking of Beach Club, which is Cape May Cafe.
Oh, okay. Then I think I would actually go with Riviera because the restaurant at Topolino's at the top of the tower, so it's cool views. It's classic Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Donald. They're wearing artist clothing, which is fine.
Super
cute. But also like for the kids, this is so brilliant. They take the Mickey waffle, they stick a stick in it, and they call it a dipper, and then they give them like 3 dipping sauces. So like now the waffle is like more fun. So I'll go with Topolino's at Riviera.
I've never eaten there, but I've heard that is the best character breakfast location. It's not a buffet, which most of them are, which if like you're going with just you and a small child, having a buffet is hard because you're trying to hold them and get their food and your food. Having a plated meal where you order something, I think is so much better. And I've heard the quality of the food is fantastic compared to others. So I don't know if we mentioned this one, but this is my favorite one, and it's at Wilderness Lodge. And it is Animator's Palette Artist Point. I think that's what it's called. I know it's Artist Point. And it has Snow White, the Evil Queen, which, oh my God, my daughter was obsessed with the Evil Queen, like literally her biggest fan, and Dopey and Grumpy. And it was fantastic. The food, great, multiple courses. And they play music, they come around, they talk to you, there's songs, and then you get like your own interaction with the Evil Queen separately at the end. And it was so cool. Like, she didn't obviously know what was going on, but she loved Dopey and the Evil Queen so much. And so it was great for me.
Good memories.
Yeah. Okay, we got to keep going faster.
Okay.
We're running out of time.
Best resort at the back door of Epcot in the boardwalk area.
Ooh, good question. I like to stay, trick question, I like to stay at the Dolphin, which is like a sister hotel because I have Marriott points. So that's where I'm usually staying. And I haven't stayed at the boardwalk or the beach club or the yacht club. So for me, the boardwalk is like, again, because I stay at the Dolphin, it's all new territory. If I could pick and choose, I would probably pick Riviera because I just really like that hotel. I've never stayed there, but I've been there and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've only stayed at Boardwalk, but that whole area is really nice. I would probably try like Yacht Club because like don't Yacht Club and Beach Club share a pool and it's supposed to be amazing?
It's supposed to be the number one pool. It's called like Stormalong Bay, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And they have the best slide and so cool. It's amazing. I've been to that pool even though I haven't stayed there. And when my daughter's old enough, we will be staying there. I've been holding off until she's like fully swimming. Best resort for kids.
Probably Animal Kingdom Lodge because it's a zoo and a resort in one. So you get to see, we saw zebras, flamingos, giraffes, ostriches, other various horned animals, turtles. And then they have what you like almost can't do research on in advance is the resort unique activities that they'll have. And so Animal Kingdom has this really cool activity where you get a string and you do these different activities where you learn about Africa or animals in Africa and you earn a bead for each activity. So over the course of your stay, you can try to accumulate all these beads and it's free and it just forces the kids to kind of learn about, one of the activities is observing the flamingos and observing these different specific behaviors like cleaning themselves, standing on one leg, burrowing in the ground. So, digging in the ground. So, yeah, Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Okay, I think it's a great answer. I mean, I was going to pick Art of Animation just because of the theming. Like, it's hit you in the face with the theming and the pools and all that. But I love Animal Kingdom Lodge, so I would pick that answer too.
No, that's a great one. It has all those life-size sculptures from
characters, right? Yeah.
Cars, Little Mermaid, Lion King, and Nemo. And like, so for Cars, there's literally a real car-sized replica of probably like 6 of the characters.
Yeah. Like if your kid, if their favorite movie is one of those 4 movies, you should probably go to Art of Animation because it will make their entire life. And you could spend an entire day just enjoying that area.
Yep. All right, I'm going to throw one at you. Best resort to feel like you're not at Disney. And you can't say the Dolphin or the Four Seasons.
Okay, I've never stayed at the Four Seasons. It's pretty expensive. Again, Polynesian's an obvious answer because the theming is just over the top being in that type area of the world. Also Animal Kingdom Lodge because you feel like you're on a safari. Like you are not in Florida. I mean, maybe you're at like a zoo in Florida, but for the most part, it feels secluded. It feels serene. It definitely doesn't feel theme park. So I would say those.
Yeah. Well, and I think like, especially since there is no characters at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're not going to run into Mickey.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So I have a little game for you before we go because I know we're like right at time. So have you ever heard of a blind ranking?
I don't know.
Okay. So I have a wheel of all of the resorts. I'm going to randomly spin said wheel and it's going to pick 5 resorts at random and you're going to put them in number 1 through 5 of which one you like the best or least, but you don't know which one's coming up. They're all randomized. So it's called blind ranking because you're blindly putting them in a spot. So like, for example, if I spin it and Riviera comes up, Are you going to put it at number 1? Because there's also all-stars, and like you don't want to risk having all-stars as your number 1.
Okay.
So you have to be thinking about it, okay? Got it? All right. It's spinning. Ooh, we're starting off so strong. We are staying at the Contemporary.
I will put that at number 3.
Okay. I would agree with that. I think that's a solid pick. I'm going to write this all down as this one is spinning again. And we're staying at the Riviera.
I'll put that number 2.
Okay. Solid. Port Orleans French Quarter.
Well, okay, so that one's 4.
4? Okay.
I'm hoping for a monorail loop or,
Contemporary was a monorail loop.
Not Contemporary monorail loop.
Okay, so you have 1 and 5 left. Spin it. Oh, you're so lucky. You have all stars.
5.
Yeah. Okay, so then your number 1 resort pick. The Grand Floridian.
All right. Yeah, I'll take it. I did it.
You lucked out on that. This is your first blind ranking. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
Yes, thank you for joining our very first Playing It By Ears podcast. We hope this show got you excited about selecting and maybe sampling a new resort at Disney World.
Please follow us on Instagram at Play It By Ears Podcasts. DM us with Disney questions or even your own hot takes of maybe what we've discussed or not. We'll try to read those on future episodes. And if you want to see our faces, make sure to watch these on YouTube as well at Play It By Ears Podcasts. I've been Kate.
And I've been Leanne. And to all you dorky adult Disneyers out there, since we're on the theme of Disney hotels, remember, the next time you check into a deserted hotel on the dark side of Hollywood, make sure you know just what kind of vacancy you're filling.
Bye, guys.
I don't need a